Uh, Hello all. So let us start this session on discussion about the InternGyan. I will be pouring some Gyan to you. So I am Pence Mataria, Y17 BTech from Aerospace Engineering, and I am selected to intern at Airbus. Uh, just to give you brief information about the company, Airbus is the one of the companies in the duopolistic market, which is into the commercial airplane production as well as defense, and apart from that, it also is into latest other research based ventures, which develops UAVs and VTOLs. So let us start. So basically, in this brief session, I would be discussing more on the decision process, which is important uh, for your internship, and I am sure it would help you something. You'll take something out of it. I will be telling you my experiences and what I have learned from the phase of my life which you would be going to face. So okay, so let us start with the most important question, that is, like, do you really want to intern or not? This is the first decision that you have to take. There are lots other options, and if you are already sorted with your life and you have decided that you want to really like work, or you want to prepare for some public service examinations or some other examinations or similar things, you always have an option to do that. But in that case, be very mindful of your decision and always take care that you are not wasting your time. This is very precious time. It's a precious opportunity. Okay, so now coming to the other part. So let's say you are going to intern. Okay, so now what is important for a decision making process is a lot of brainstorming at first, and I would really suggest for that to take a pen and a paper and just jot down all your ideas, what you're having, and whatever I'll be just suggesting you further. uh, this habit of brainstorming is the core of your decision process. So please don't hesitate to do that things. Okay. So now what you are going to do is you have to self-analyze yourself. You have to self-analyze yourself, and you have to write all the things about yourself. Be very true to yourself. Be very completely honest to yourself. You write about your strengths, your weaknesses, all the skills you have, all the capacity you have, the field in which you want to work, the field which you have already worked, the kind of knowledge we already have, and what are your long-term goals in your life. What do you really want to do, after getting graduation? What are your far goals? What are your near goals? And what type of work you can do? You can push yourself. What kind of work you can push yourself beyond your limits? What is your endurance in? What kind of work do you want to explore? What kind of work you don't want to do? You just strike off that kind of work from your list. This all things are a part of brainstorming. Okay, so this thing happens once you do a detailed self analysis about yourself. So one thing what we are going to do, and what I always follow, as like taking my turn and even deciding my further steps, was that I always preferred work rather than the money or the amount which company gives. I What is important for success is really the perseverance of your work, and if you really love the work you do, it can be any kind of work. It can be core, it can be non-core job, it can be even something related to arts. It's the work which you want to do. It's the work which really engages you. Doing and building a career in that direction is extremely important. If you are stuck with something else, you may just be good up till a mark, but you can't push yourself harder in that direction. So now, what next step in your decision process is, you have two parts. So one thing is that you know something about yourself. Yeah, I mean, you know what you want to do, what are your goals, you know about them. You have some vision for your life. And another part is, you are really not sure about what are you going to do next, and you are like blank on that side. Both things are fine. What you have to do is just identify in which side do you lie. Okay. So if you are the one who does not know about like what kind of work really engages you and what kind of like what are your visions, what you want to do with your life, then this at this stage, what I would suggest you is to apply the generic approach, and that generic approach implies that just search about all the kinds of work which exist, all the past companies which have came, talk to the seniors who have been already doing that kind of work, and to gain some of insights that what you can do, what you can't do, visualize yourself to try to find out what you can, what is your cup of tea especially, and after that decision we'll be moving further. So don't fear about taking any decisions, don't overthink. Okay, don't be too anxious, and don't be too hasty in doing this type of decisions. You can generally apply for all the companies, but that actually serves no purpose. As I said, if you really want to do something good, you have to identify your true potential or your work which you can do. So to be on the either side like of your decision, it's fine, it's completely fine, just be true to yourself. Okay, now let's come to the other part. So now you know something, right? You know something what you want to do. You want to, like, let's say you want to do research, you want to pursue research in further. What are your long-term goals? You want to be a professor, you want to go to the commercial side of the industry in which you are. Maybe it would be of your department, apart from your department, or you just want to go towards the non-core side. That includes finance, management, and general business kind of principles. So this kind of activities, it comes after your self-analysis. You have to write, you have to jot down what have you done, try to connect your past, where is your life leading you. Okay, so just be sure about that thing. Okay, next thing is, like, after choosing that, you have three options. uh, these are the three generic options which everyone has. This includes about taking a MS at some universities, or like if you want to do that or not after your graduation. So this thing can be a bit tricky for many of the students. We may be like quite undecisive about that thing. So how can you decide that? So what I would like to suggest is that just go through your resume. I mean, go through your past work. Definitely, if you have not made a resume, or if you have made a resume, it's a very good thing. So, what kind of projects have you done? Okay, so for any of the industrial masters, or masters in your non-industrial fields also, you require some kind of background, or you require a decent CPI, and to get into a good college, taking masters from abroad in a local college serves no purpose. You have to, if you're doing masters, you definitely have to be like, you need to have a very good brand about it. And if you have a good CPI, you would be getting good kind of scholarships and all. So yeah, CPI is a bit important in this case. Plus, what type of projects you have done, how are your relations with your professors, and this kind of work. And if you have no idea in that, try to explore it a bit to be sure that you want to do masters or you don't want to do masters. Okay, so if you want to do masters, now if is it in a core departmental field, or anything related to what you're studying now. If that's the case, then again what you have to decide is that, like, what kind of uh, internships can you like pursue now, because if you do an academic intern now, it would really help you for your MS after your graduation. Okay, so if you do a non-academic intern now, it may help you in taking non-core and like what kind of work you have done at your intern, or that kind of masters that may include MBA or something. So this is again a point where you have to decide where to lie. Okay, so after decision, you would be again having two options. Now, like what you really want to work with, like you want to explore something new, you should have a bit of fields ready that you want to explore. Like just to try out, you might be having multiple decisions to uh, pursue as your career, and you just want to, maybe you want to cross one of them out. So you can try out, or you want to turn that as an exploration, or you really have decided your complete flow chart of your further life, and you want to intern at a specific field. Okay, so what basically I believed was that choose your intern, like not let companies or institutes choose you. You can do anything, everyone can do anything. Be very positive and you can choose whatever you want. Okay, so for that you have to first be very thorough with yourself that what you want to work with. Okay, so now coming to the other parts, like non-academic parts that may include a core intern or a non-core intern. Okay, so it again goes to your, like, you how you worked with, how were your academics, or did you really enjoy problem solving, or the analytical problem solving of your courses, the core engineering what you have been learning. If you, no matter how your performance was, but if you were really quite engaged in that and you really loved that thing, then maybe core intern is an option for you. And it also depends on the fact that how well you have your projects done, how well your academic background, and how well versed are you with the core concepts that you want to work with. It is like it varies from department to department, but in general, it's that way. And now coming to the non-core part, so you have to again flashback to your life and see that what kind of work were you into. Like, did you like working in the festivals, or like management and managing clubs, managing teams, leading someone, raising funds for something. If this were the things in which you can push yourself beyond any limit, then you are made for non-core. There are other few many things in non-core which you can go. That may include something apart from your department, or something related to data analytics, or maybe core finance, maybe core management, uh, and the list may go on. So you can just Google things like what are the types of jobs that generally people get, what are the roles of each and every position at big organizations, and you will find a tons of video on YouTube, like what exactly they are meant for and what are the duties, what are the jobs. So once you are fixed with this, I think you have made more than 50% of your part in joining an intern. So looking to my case, so basically I was kind of into technical side, and I have a decent experience in marketing, a bit of in leading teams, and working. I had 2 years of experience in working on autonomous systems and robotics, and this was something which I liked. Okay, so what I reflected about myself was that I was able to do many of the technical works, but myself pushing myself in which I can endure. These were the fields which were related mostly to the hardware of the robotics part, and the interaction between hardware and software. Or another thing which I can really push myself was into management. So my long-term goal was going to commercial side, and with owing to this all reasons, I had these three options, and I really didn't, like, I don't want to pursue more research or something, and I didn't want to just go more towards the core aerospace side. So I just dropped the option of MS research, and since I had already decided that I would be on the commercial side, either management or the robotics hardware. My long-term goal, as I said, was to go into the management side. So that was something which I can push myself. I had my background, I had my own stories, which I can just see that this is something which I can really do. So this was my decision. So now what I had left was that what I found, this I started looking for this type of companies through SPO first. So what I found was that core management companies were very less. I mean, they were very limited, and maybe sometimes they don't appear on the intern side, and maybe it wasn't a good time to just go into the core management, and so I was left with another option, that was the core robotics hardware. And so what I started was starting to make a list of all the companies, which included the robotics companies, many of the startups, and this kind of things. So here also there is one decision: do you really want to go into startup, or do you want to join a business? So a well-established business, I mean a well-established organization. So it depends again what you really want to do after few years of your life. You want to, like, you want to have a good well settled security, full of security job, then I think going to an interning at a established organization is something a good option. But if you want to just climb to this top, and you want that you can just lead, you want to lead the companies in further, and you really want to be in the chief executive post and all those stuff, then I think startup is something which you can consider, because they are generally easy to climb, and you really get a lot to learn in them. So this was the point. So I was telling you about myself. So I just started making list of all the companies, all the startups which were in the robotics field, and I just started contacting them in like without the involvement of any of the SPO activities. Like I really applied in SPO. I got into Airbus through SPO, but I applied in SPO internship drive very late. I was just searching for other companies and applying on that off campus by myself. So now what? Now there came a point in my life where I crossed with few of the projects of Airbus, which were really something which I loved, and I really wanted to explore the biggest commercial aviation fields. And that was the time simultaneously when Airbus came to the internship drive. And now I was very confident about Airbus. This was my first interview. Airbus was my first interview, and I did got selected in it because I was very confident about it. Why I was confident? Because I knew I was the ideal candidate. Okay, so at this point of time, you have to you have to make your resumes also. So I'll be discussing about resumes very short in a while. So yeah, so I was very confident because what I thought, what reflected in my resume and what reflected in all my past experience was that I was something really fit for that job. I really had a very great tint of management, and I wanted to pursue. I wanted to go into the commercial direction. I had done like very similar projects related to this field, and this was the point that made me very confident that I would, if I apply for Airbus, I would be one who would be getting selected. Okay, so at this point of time, you have to select your companies. As I said, you are the one who is in charge, and you are the one who have to select your companies. No, don't let companies select you. Don't just randomly apply in all the companies and just try your luck out. You have to be very sure, you have to be very precise, and you have to be very confident that whatever you are applying for is the fittest thing for you, and you are the fittest for the company, and you are definitely going to go there. This should be your attitude. And yeah, so like selecting companies, as I said, uh, prefer work first. As I said, what you are going to work with, prefer that profile, or prefer that companies who which appear, which provide that profile. And next thing what you are going to select is brand. Okay, so the bigger the company, that definitely would help you in further terms of your life. So go for big company first. Prioritize always a bigger brand, a bigger company with some good values, good market worth. You can also look to the company's progress data in past few years, company's prospective projects, because you are the one who are going to work there. Okay, so now for other thing, what you have to keep in your mind is that after all the things are ready, I mean, you are ready with your resume, you are ready with what you want to do. Sit on the other side of the table. Okay, just try to find like what are you fit for. This would help you in selecting the companies. So this was my story of Airbus, and what I intended was that once I go into Airbus, I would be like I would just switch over. I'll communicate with lots of people, and I would just try to get an idea of how the management of the company works, and then later on basis of my experience with the intern, I would be deciding that whether I want to like switch over to management, or I really want to pursue MS in hardware and robotics or something which I technically like. So this was my decision process and how I worked with. Okay, so don't be late. Start preparing, start brainstorming now, and prepare your resumes. Uh, have them reviewed multiple times by multiple people. This is the best time to utilize. I would like to point out that you can just have basic programming skills like up till structures, or just object oriented programming for everyone. Like it's useful and it serves as a backup. Like if you just in case if you don't get in what you want, this kind of stuff really helps you to get somewhere a job. But what is really important is to focus on the kind of work you like, and just don't run behind money or something, or the salary or stipend which the intern is providing. You can always do that, but what you have to focus is you have to ace the field in which you are. Okay, based on your internship you would be getting your placements, and this would be taking you a step closer to your final goals of your life. So be very very conscious about it. Okay, and one final thing which we would like to talk very briefly is about the interview process. So what happened at my Airbus interview? Interview is the most important thing of any internship selection procedure. Okay, so I had a round of resume scrutiny in Airbus, and I was selected in that. And then came my interview. I was so confident about my interview, and I was very cheerful about it. I really did like I was something I had in mind that I am already diverse. When they were asking questions, mostly the questions which they asked were based on my resume, based on my past projects, and I was like quite ready with that, and I was just explaining him so fluently, like as if I was just an employee of. I was already an employee of Fibers, and I was just talking to him about my past projects. So this kind of attitude really really works well. Attitude when interview comes, attitude is something which is really important. Okay, and there are some companies which ask some of the questions related to like core stuff or some of the technical questions. In that case, be very frank. Be take your time, and like what really matters is the approach rather than the answer in most of the cases. So focus on that part. Okay, don't be shy, be very open. If you are a bit of introvert, then try practicing yourself with mirror. Take lots and lots of mock interviews with your fingies. This is something which really helps. Okay, so yeah, this was something which I wanted to say. So these things are really very they are very crucial. You can always change your path in your life, but you would be then wasting a few years of your life. So it's very better to be very conscious about your decisions and just go wherever you want. We'll be taking some of the generic questions which the CS has requested me. Okay, so preparation strategies. As I said, utilize your time. There are lots of platforms where you want to, you can practice. But the first thing what you how to decide is what you are going to practice. If you want to practice something non-core, go and do some and solve some data analytics problems. So you really want to go into business and management, go and take a course on digital marketing, SEOs, and that kind of thing. If you really want to go in core side, if you really want to go in programming side, there are tons of online courses. There are tons of test quizzes. Go towards it, practice very perfectly, and be sure for yourself. Skills required for the profile. So it depends again, as I said, from profile to profile. I think I covered this thing basically in my past discussion. Okay, which institute courses to focus on this field? So if you are going for a core field, be very or go if you are really applying for a work which suits it somehow correlates with your academic courses and all, and you have to be sure about like basic concepts of that courses and how and the application concepts of that courses. Okay. Okay, so there are some generic questions with AE core. So kind of work involved in the internship. So I won't be able to talk much about it as due to lockdown. This my project is really I'm not able to work with the company, so I don't find myself that credible to answer this question now. Uh, yes, so there are companies related to aerospace core, and that did come. That included Mitsubishi and all. So yeah, that were in fluid and thermal engineering. So yeah, there are some companies which come for core aerospace and something related to spacecraft. Okay, so if you find yourself that you are someone who is related into the spacecraft thing, yes, you definitely have a scope there, but you have to do it off campus mostly, I guess. There are, lots of opportunities. There are lots of projects which are going with the DRDO, this row, and many other companies who are directly or indirectly related with the defense. What I believe is that if you like this field, just or any field, if you like something, what you want is you just go towards that field. You just go out, you just go inside that organization, and then you can grow at your own pace. So that is something what really matters. Okay, so what are different options available in a given profile as in companies? So yeah, so I discussed that they come in core like business. I really found very less companies with core management as an internship, but you can always look towards this companies as an off-campus source. And yes, you can definitely get good placement and internship by focusing on your coursework. It depends, like, do you want to really go towards that direction, and how were you in your academics? Like, do you really, as I said, are you interested in solving that kind of analytical problems? If that's the case, you can definitely go. Okay, so is it necessary to convert MTech to get a core job? So here we are talking about job, and as per my experience and how much I have seen people, at least in aerospace, this is true up till certain extent. There are some field which really require some kind of information, some kind of knowledge that uh, we or our curriculum generally don't provide us in 4 years. So yes, MTech for a core job in aerospace, it is a bit necessary. And how to get a good research intern? So yes, so you have to like make a list of all the ongoing projects which are going on. You may get it ready made from some seniors, but this kind of things always are updating. So first look for good institutes in your field in which you want to work. Try searching for papers, good papers in your field. Try contacting all the authors or the professors, and then you can just reverse track them, and you can make a good database of all the professors and all the projects which are good for you or which are into your field, and you can really then apply for each of the projects. Be sure about the timeline when applying for research project. Most of them have very strict deadlines, and what I would like to say about research project is that be very very personalized. Don't just mass mail everyone. Be very personalized. Be very sure about your LORs. Be very sure about your cover letters, and be very very like into what you are writing or what you are mailing them, because you may have to mail a very a great number of professors, but if you are really writing a personalized mail, it really gives a very good impression and somehow maximizes your chances of getting selected. Okay, so this was it. You can contact me anytime if you have any of the queries. Thank you for listening to me, and I hope that you can take something from my experiences. And at last, I would like to say that life is about making decisions and never looking them back. Okay, bye.